So, this is our very first recording, an introduction to our podcast, the Hail to the King podcast. Book club? Podcast?
Book club? Podcast.
Hail to the King podcast.
Yeah.
And then underscore a book club.
A book club. Rantings, ravings, and praises of Stephen King.
Yeah. So, this is Magnus, and with me is
Mark.
And we've been friends for 15 plus years. You know, probably more than that, but we'll just say 15 plus.
Yeah. That's
And
a good one.
about eight or so years ago, I lent Mark his first Stephen King book, which I think was
It was Desperation.
Desperation, which is a good one to start on. But that's not what we're going to start on.
No, we're starting on Pet Sematary.
We're going to start with Pet Sematary. We're going to just read the book prior to recording, and either we'll finish it and then be together in the room and discuss the book at length, or if we've only gotten through half of it or only one of us has gotten through half of it, then we'll kind of have like a stopping point. But, you know, where we'll talk up to a certain point in the book. And some of the bigger books we might break into 2 episodes. Or,
yeah, like The Stand or something might be.
or at least 2 recording
Different parts.
sessions. I guess we'll see how that goes, because maybe we'll just edit them together. But, we're both obsessed with Stephen King. I've read all of his published works besides his latest 2 books. I was saving those for the podcast. That is Sleeping Beauties, which he wrote with his son Owen King, and The Outsider, which was just him. But I've read most everything a couple times, but a few of them once, and it's been so long since I've read some that I've completely forgotten every aspect of the book besides, what's written on the inside sleeve. So, we're looking to talk until we're done talking when it comes to recording the episodes. So maybe I'll say 30 minutes will probably be the minimum length of a book that if we cover.
Yeah.
And then maybe, 2 hours-ish for bigger ones, and whatever. We'll see. But
Yeah, I as well have read most of them. I have a hard time reading short stories. Magnus will devour everything Stephen King. I, for some reason, have a hard time with short stories. Not just Stephen King, anything. But I've read most everything,
Yeah.
so...
And alongside his novels, his short stories is another thing that Stephen King is actually known for. A lot of movies have been made from his novellas and short stories. So about every 7 or so years, he publishes a collection. So we'll eventually get through them. But we're going to read them in no particular order. I don't know if we're going to do random or if we're just going to kind of eyeball my bookshelf and pick one out, for what our next one will be. But yeah, we will start with Pet Sematary, and that's, we'll compare, we'll just kind of let the conversation flow naturally and see where it goes, and stop recording when we're done. And in the future, we may do some revisits to some of these. So,
Advice, suggestions, anything is always open. If people have recommendations for, a book they'd like us to read next, and then hear what we have to say about it, that's always welcome. We may or may not take those recommendations. After Pet Sematary, we may want something a little lighter, happier. Although with
there's
with
not
the
a lot
King,
of happy to choose
there's
from.
not a lot of happy to choose from with the King, but which is, I guess, why we love him. He's real.
Yep.
It's not a fairy tale ending with everything. Although there are really good I would say most everything he does has a very satisfying ending.
Satisfying. Yes.
Whether it's a tragedy, like Pet Sematary. Real quick, this is all spoilers, so
very spoilery.
If you don't want anything spoiled, go read the book, come on back, and join us.
We're hoping that if you are checking out an episode and you haven't read the book, either A, you've seen the movie, or B, you don't care if it gets spoiled, and you're the type of person who will hear our spoilers and then go pick up the book and get excited to hear what we were talking about. So, either listen along, read along with us and listen to our episodes, or, do what you want. So I think without further ado, we will get our other episode started. So anything else you want to say?
No, I think that covers it.
All right. Sounds good. Happy King everything.
Happy King Day.
Happy King Day.
Tune in with us next time, constant listener.
Goodbye.